message you can.
Okay. Well, today we're out doing some canning and that. So, what do we have today? Oh, a ton of spaghetti. We're going to be doing spaghetti sauce. So, right there is about pretty much a ton of the tomatoes fresh from our garden right there. Probably did about 45 pounds in there, and we'll be adding some more peppers from our garden. Yummy, yum, yum. And also some okra and shrooms put in there, and I still got to cut up the onions, and that'll be enough of garlic. So we just got done with that, so we're gonna go and take a little break shortly after this video on that. So it kind of give you an idea what's going on. And then I got this big monster okra right here. This puppy's at 12 inches right now. That was taken out of our garden, which we didn't plan to do, but apparently decided to grow a little bit beyond belief. Something else we're going to try for canning this year is like a yellow salsa. So, and using the Lemon Boy tomatoes. These are what they look like when they're ripe. And they are fantastic and delicioso. And then we'll probably add some of the indigo rose tomatoes, which they end up being yellow, and that's not a small tomato. It's actually about the biggest they get. Why it's not classified as a cherry tomato, I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit bigger than that, so who knows. So that'll be our next canning thing going. So we expect to do at least 24 quarts of sauce today. So, other than that, a little warm today too. Other than that, another good thing we had today. Phone's not working and cooperating too well, so you have to bear with me a little bit on there. But other things we've went on in that is our loofah gourds. And again, this is the first time growing these, and these things, I didn't believe it. I thought maybe it's just the weather, or maybe it's not the greatest around here, or we did a little late. Part of the issue is our greenhouse tent flew up, and a wind took and knocked probably about 150 or so plants down earlier this year, and that set us back for probably a month, and we had some damn good plants growing inside the house before then. So we had to start on loofahs. Depending on, for the gourds, depending on which site you go to, they can take anywhere to according to instructions, 120 to 200 days. 200 days in Wisconsin, you guys all know that's way not acceptable. So, so these, if I had to guess, we're probably going to end up with about 140 days at the end of the growing season. And that's assuming it'll stop right around in October. But we had 2 to 3 for the longest time, and right now, you've seen the pictures of the early ones, but I haven't shown this in a while, so we're going to take a tour in there right around the deck where we have the loofahs. And starting up here, those were the original 2 big ones, and that's about 13 inches for that one, and probably about 16 inches in there. And recently, the last couple weeks, we kind of look around, and this is kind of amazing. We got one growing up there. It's about 8 inches. We got this one trained right down here, and right down here. And a newer one right up there. A couple more up there in the corner growing, and this big feller's been around a while right there. But what was really cool is these ones you didn't realize they're growing, and they snuck in on you. A good example too is like right down here. I didn't even notice. My youngest daughter noticed this one. Right behind the leaf, they got a little one going there. I don't know if you can see it. Try and pull it back a little bit. Right up here in the corner of the pergola, and it's about 8 feet high. So And a couple more. If you look around over here, we can probably see them a little bit better in that. So that these things, I'll warn you. This is 7 plants from seed we did. So you look up here, and I don't know how the heck this is doing this, but inside our dinner bell, which we can't ring unless we want to break the plant, there are blossoms in the dinner bell. I wouldn't be surprised if something came out and did that. And even right here, again, I just hooked this plant up right back here, and a good 6-inch one right there. As you can see, our cherry tomatoes, we're giving them a little break since we picked most of them right now. But you can also see there's plenty of them left over in that for us to do. Right here, I'm trying to get these to grow a little bit more, and I don't know what we got to do. There are tons of blossoms on those. And then the other thing we had, a couple weeks back, we mentioned we had a little issue, and my lovely wife and nurse right here did get them back to health. So they're pretty good, except a little feisty due to molting, which they're ornery. They're just ornery. They're bitter.
You sassy girl.
Yeah, little fatties probably didn't get their 10 pounds of food a day, but
not yet.
Yeah. But like I said, it's canning time, so yeah, trust me, they're not gonna starve. Yeah, bottom point, right here. I walk around there and they're following me right around. Come on, fatties. Come on. Okay, fine, be that way. So anyway, motoring on up the hill here. It's been a little cool, which is nice relief for the time and that. So, but as much of a pain in the rear end it is with the hot weather, plants love it. So far, we probably took out maybe about 80 pounds of tomatoes since they came. We got more, maybe about 20 pounds ripening in the house. And before we go in here too, another point, the bad thing about the lifestyle is you can be so accomplished. Feel so accomplished when crap gets done. And then actually the wife did while I was at work, sealed the blacktop of the part where we're going to be putting on one of our sheds. So everything came up here. Took forever for us to clear this out and make it look nice, and then whoop. Yep. Let's start another burn pile. Not so much these rabbit hutches. These are gifted to me from a friend trying to get rid of the hard crap and that. And Junior, who's going to be 10 next week, loves his, he has his very own tool set. And he's taken apart a lot of these on his own time, which is really nice. And that's a blessing to know that your boy can do something like that. And I get a kick out of some people go, "Oh, you're lucky your kid's in there." I go, luck has nothing to do with it. I go, this is plain and simple. Unfortunately, in today's environment, I go, you want to know what you do? You want your kid to do something? Take the damn phone away from them and give them a hammer. Plain and simple. Instead of teaching them to play a damn video game, teach them how to use a saw. It's not exactly rocket science. So that's just an entirely different rant and everything and that. And you guys know, on that aside of this little series, I like to go off every once in a while and express my concern for today's society. Anyway, getting back to the garden. Rant over. Yeah, the tomatoes, we got most of them when we go up to the Amish, and definite sale. Like, I'll be honest, although we got them at a bargain, I really don't care. It's at $3 a plant. There's some plants that have about 10-15 pounds of tomato, and the reason they're bending over right now and going all over the place is the weight can't support them. Does it look perfect in a garden? No, but I'll tell you what, if all you got to complain about your garden is that your plants are coming over because there's too much produce coming in, that's a pretty damn good problem to have. So let's take another quick tour. There's a lot of stuff we've taken out. The okra, this is actually, we probably, what we're trying to do in there, everything you see in this garden, from the time it became a field up to, it probably cost us about $1,500. And when I say that, I'm talking probably for about 2 pallets of topsoil, 3 cubic yards of topsoil from another place that really wasn't impressed. Probably about $100 to $150 in stain and lumber, about $200 for the connectors for the beds, and probably about $250 for the plants, if that. I'd even put more, maybe about $175 and about $45 in high quality seed. And the main expense was a fence. But around here too, we also had a lot of stuff for building the chicken run and chicken coop, and so we really had a lot of it around. So we probably went a little nuts and went over and total fencing and everything and caging. Probably ran about $450, but that was also for other stuff too, besides the garden. And what's nice too about that is, let me switch over here. This is currently too, we're gonna be fixing this up right here, maybe adding a little bit more lattice work. We got this knocked down quite a bit to where it's almost flat too. But getting back to the fencing, aside of all that, and a lot of other things that, you know, we do have quite a bit left right here. So it's like, yeah, quite a bit for other projects as well. So that's not really a bad thing. Alrighty. Now let's get back to the garden and get this over. What we've noticed is the okra too. And remember I told you, is okra, just like the loofah gourds, it seems like it takes forever for them to grow. But this is still growing right here, this okra, and this right now is about 4 feet tall at the base. You'll notice we ripped out that big sunflower because it wasn't doing the great and it was really shading. But this right here, for the most part, this little thing, there's probably, if I had to guess, about 25 plants in here, is providing about 3 pounds of okra per week. And to give a hint to that, it usually runs about $6 a pound in the store. So every week you figure, oh, that $1,518 is given back in what we would have bought at the store. Hot peppers, scorpions and reapers, they go for probably about, oh, good $12 a pound in a lot of places. Look at down there. Those things get ripe right down there. Those are the scorpions. Those things will add to the money getting back. Again, all the Thai dragon peppers, and these are about twice as big as a lot of them in the store. Pretty expensive one. Jalapenos. The reapers, all those right there, those can add up pretty quick. The basket of fires. This is after last week. I took about 200 of them off. And they're just the ripe ones. You can see right there, they're coming out. And this is just a small plant. They go, this is actually close to full size, some of them. They actually, this one tilted over a little bit, but like right there, these are, at fully grown site, are actually only about 12 inches tall and can bush out to 18 inches. So these may go into a container next year. You can go close to the okra down here. We can see right here where they're planted close, and this is just a little experiment right here. So in this little 6x6 area, we will probably be trying 54 or 56 plants. We'll still have about a foot here to plant beans straight around over here. So again, that's close to 80 plants in a 6x6 area. What you see here and a lot of things, I've been doing a lot of contemplating our mistakes, and that's because it's our first year doing this, a project of this magnitude. So I would rather learn from the mistakes and not redo them and go nuts next year. Successes too, at the same time. 2 to 3 times a week we are taking beans off here, about a pound, pound and a half at a time. So again, there's $10 to $15 a week past your value. This next thing I want to show you though has been utterly cool. This is what I've been waiting for, and it's the Chinese asparagus beans that are supposed to get up to as big as a yard long in length. Well, these things are finally exploding. They're the last thing to actually produce in the garden, and for some reason the critters got them, and we had about 12 to 15 plants, and only 3 or 4 survived. So we weren't really hopeful, but I gotta say, if you look at these things, you know, if we let them get to a yard long or whatever, or even at the recommended cutting of 18 to 24 inches, I mean, realistically, you look at 20 beans, you're talking about 2 quarts. 2 quarts for about 10 or 20 beans. So what I did is we got right here. That is what they look like coming up. They're right there. They seem to go 2 to 3 and sometimes single right there. But that one right there you're looking at is the one I usually photograph. And the long one's about 15 inches or so right now. And I kind of put my hand right up to it to kind of show you a reference. And how thick it is compared to my finger. So that I am really going to be experimenting with some of these inside this year, because I would love to get a ton of these growing. We did start picking summer tomatoes. You know, like I said, they were getting too big in that, and the plant's going over. So we are have been picking some, trying to ripen them, and such is the case with the Amish paste. Plus we got a lot of smaller ones too that we want send the strength to. So right here, and another mistake we made too was the tomatoes got a little too hot. So next year, probably about from this side into the cage down and back, it'll take till about 9 o'clock for the sun to get here, but we will be able to have probably go from about 48 or so to about, no, I don't know, we'd probably have room for about 35 more plants of tomatoes, so, which is the main staple of a lot of stuff we make. And got our youngest one here, and say hi. And hi. And she's looking at them. Right here we got, they did go as seed, but you know, these are the mustard plants, and you know, I mean, if you really want, you can save the seed right here, and they all come out in these pods right here. And that, and it's kind of cool too, the giant spinach and that. This is what the seeds look like down here. So got them taken care of. Hey, come over here, Lily. I gotta show something. We're gonna have to go over here actually. And we haven't had it yet, but it's starting to get to the flowering stage. So stand right there and turn around. So here's my daughter. She's standing right here, right up next to the sunflower and that. So that's about, oh boy, probably about 9 feet tall almost. The sunflower, not Lillian. Okay, thanks. So that was another nice little success. We thinned out, and we're trying not to really get rid of anything until absolute necessary, or if it's totally lost cause. And by that, we're not only learning, things are going a little bit better on there too. So this is where a lot of the corn was, and a lot of things, the idiotic critters and that from hell came and destroyed. So we rushed some plants over here, and yeah, we got a couple ghost peppers started over here, so we'll see how those do. It was just something to fill up, just so we're not wasting the ground in that. A lot of the patty pan squash was done in that, but you know, we kept a couple of them, and yeah, you can see down here there's a couple of them started behind the flowers. Cucumbers, we just picked these last week, so there ain't too many, but we got probably about 15-20 pounds off the 4 plants. Over here, you can see the Romas and that too, they're doing good. So you know, as we pick them right there, the other ones are starting to grow. They're turning pretty good. And then pretty much over here, another nice thing that's going on is the main garden. We've had a couple additions of the Kusha pumpkins. Yeah, right there, we got a new one going there, and I didn't even notice, and the kids did. Under this leaf, a little baby one started there too, so it's kind of a, you don't see it that often where it gets that close. Finally got a good first blue Hubbard squash out of 4 plants growing. And the watermelons ain't doing the best, some of them. But I got to do a little more research on there and see if maybe it's not something that was meant for this area so much. And I think they're the Florida Giants, which could be the different weather system. I don't know. And maybe I screwed up, you know, I don't know. But got down here, and that is one of our bigger ones right there. You got some little ones started there. Other ones, I don't remember which one this is. I will have to check it because they are growing excellent. Like down here too. And all of a sudden, all of a sudden, out in the middle of nowhere, woohoo! Last week we had 4 new ones growing there. You can see right there, our pumpkins are doing fine. And that's, so we're real happy about that. Look at that. Did you see this one, Lily?
No.
Yeah, well, hey, look at that right there. Some of these things are hidden so well, you don't even see it until it's like, wow. You know, the same thing like here for the cantaloupe. By the time you see all the weeds go away, and that's, oh, we got another one growing here. We got one growing here. The other one's growing here, so we're doing pretty good on them as well. This stuff, apparently I must have missed it. We got some horseradish coming up from last year. And, which is fine. I don't mind keeping it around because it's kind of a weedy area. A lot of the asparagus went and we let go to seed. A lot of weeds. We have a real issue with crown vetch here. And that's a non-issue of trying to keep it back. Hence the carpet around the garden. It looks like crap, I know, but oh well. Is what it is. The one thing we like to keep is right here is our big rhubarb plant. This probably about 20 pounds of rhubarb came off of this one plant altogether this year, and we really forgot about it. So I mean, it probably been a bigger yield for that a while back. But yeah, this is the area we really got to tame. You know, we've sprayed down this area on the border on the other side just to stop the wildlife. We didn't want to kill too much because a lot of these, you know, weeds right here, like it or not, are awesome with pollinators. They let them grow wild and that, and over here. And for the most part, you know, it's you don't want to get too cocky and all that with the bees and everything, but you know, you go around your squash and pumpkins, you'll hear buzzing. Leave them alone. Let them do their work, and they'll be good to you. one thing that finally, and these are the hardest thing we've grown, are the grapes. And the grapevines to get them trained. We bought them when it was cold, and we had some really crappy weather going in and out in a late start. But like this one's finally starting to bloom. And this one right here is the best one we got so far. And it's the hard thing is being up here every other day and train the wire to train the state of the wire. And this one down here finally took, so we're talking about 3.5 feet across right there. And it's shooting up 2-3 levels on the wire. There are things to it, so I'm waiting to see because I want to get, actually I'm hungry for this stuff too. If our eggplants get a little bit bigger, this is on 6 plants here. And then we got 3 different varieties there. We got them, the Thai ones, the long ones, and then moving over here, we got some of the bigger ones too, which are still in a round ball, but they are nice size. That was on top with mammoth snow peas and back, and the rest of the dill. And that was all in one 3x4 foot raised garden bed. And the soil is sinking into the ground on both of these, so we'll be filling these up and really doing it the right way. And next year, we'll probably have about 15 bean plants across the back on each side to trellis up like the other one. And right here we got some more dill plant, which I don't know why, but this we're going to zoom back a little bit, and this is what the 3x4 foot bed looks like. They're about $40 new. They are galvanized steel, and I'll tell you what, the ones we have our strawberries in over here are the same material, and that's going on 2 years. There is absolutely no rust on them, so I am happy right there with them, and I would consider doing some again. And right here, getting back to the tomatoes, we have a lot more over here. I did not see any come up, but we just got them planted and watered. Is right here we will have about 100 beets coming up around here soon, and that but we don't want to get too attached to this garden, because right here, as you can see, we got the rhubarb roots that we planted a couple of years ago, as well as some of the new asparagus. So we kind of want this to grow wild and have more perennial vegetables in here. I would love to do something with this, but honestly it looks pretty neat right here with what Jeannie did to the flowers and that, and provides awesome pollination. So anyway, we have about 5 or 6 okra plants that just were not taken, mostly due to the lack of sun with the quaking aspens up here. So what we did was planted about 80 beets, and you can got a couple of crappy tree ones, but you can see right here the beets are coming out. They're all thinned out, so hopefully in about 60 days or so, or a little bit less, we'll have a nice supply of beets for canning. And right here, this is nice for your herb garden, but honestly it's really not that practical. This is our 2nd year doing it, and they didn't really go too well, so we ended up ripping them up and putting new ones in. We got a couple different types of sage and mint, and right down here is called the root beer plant, because literally the leaves taste like root beer. So what I think we're going to do right here is we're going to harvest what we need this year out of these herbs, and I'm going to let them die and let nature take its course. And if it recovers, that would be awesome. But if it doesn't, we got about 8 feet right here wide by probably about, if I had to guess, about 15 feet right here. And what we're probably going to do next year is put maybe a 6x10 bed in the middle. And the reason being for that is you see right over there where that cage is at the end, we'll probably plant more beans all around the perimeter, which it doesn't look it, but you're talking probably about 60 plants right there. And you know, we canned beans last year, so I mean it's like we have enough in that, but it's like if we wouldn't have done that, we probably would end up going to the store and that. And the whole goal is to be totally self-reliant as far as much as possible, and eating healthy with the vegetables. That's a big thing. So anyway, if it is not successful, what we will most likely do is put the bed in there and use this for another planting area. And then maybe about a foot and a half around the perimeter out here, we will be able to plant like smaller herbs or something in that to that extent. And most likely with the greens, number one, when you have greens, you can basically, a lot of them will actually grow and start producing in about 3 to 4 weeks from seed. So I mean, that's really not an issue, except don't do it like we did in the summer heat. You'll lose, but you got lots of awesome seeds. So I mean, I guess depending what you want. But next year in the tires, you probably have the kids plant like dill or something like that, and there is plastic under that, so I'm gonna take root assassin and stab the dirt pretty good. Give them a nice coat of new soil. Put some peat in there, let it loosen up a little bit, and have you guys go nuts with your tires next year. Really jack it up. So that's probably about it right there for the main things. Oh, another mistake too. Yeah, we'll focus on another mistake because this is important. This is see how much we can produce. We are right now for year one. I would say we are probably 75 self-sufficient, and we're probably using 35 to 45% of this garden to its peak capacity, what we have just on here. And although the whole thing is probably roughly a quarter acre or so, at the same time, there's not as much soil. These long beds right here, the 6 by 20 feet, that's 120 square feet. So it's not like we're using a lot, but placement of plants, and for one thing, like the peppers and that, these were awesome. These pepper fooled you, which are basically jalapeno peppers without the heat. Well, they're getting overtaken by these thing, and yeah, it's my fault. I wanted to get them some heirloom tomatoes, and they really took over, which is kind of a shame because the black Krim are really awesome tasting, and these indigo rose ain't bad either. But they're not. I don't like the size of them. If I wanted that, I would have put a few more cherry tomato plants in. But it's all good. It's not like we won't eat them anyway. So, but to not put them amongst the tomatoes because they will overtake the peppers, and I did kind of want a little more pepper. One thing I did like, and this is after harvesting about 30 of them in the last couple weeks. We get a good rain, are these sweet banana peppers. They average size about 4 inch right there, and they look just like a regular banana pepper. Only the only difference is they don't get as big. But I gotta say too, I don't know where the stores are going or they're blaming COVID for, but to be honest, they're banana peppers, they're spicy hot Hungarian wax peppers, are only about 5 inch. I mean, wow, that's terrible. And not with the awesome growing season we've had. You go down to here, our green peppers, they're a little small now, and a couple weeks in that ago, we'll be ready to probably take another 12.5 off there. So at 99 cents a piece, well, you can do the math again. So I would say we've already in food, for growing our own food and for being year one, we've pretty much reclaimed value-wise, half of our money back, if not more, and we got a lot more to go. We got 180 plants of beets to go through yet. I don't even think we're 40% through the tomatoes, and we've taken so far to date probably about 100 plus pounds off of these. So right there's a big chunk of money. Beans, those are not done. Okra's not done. The peppers are far from done, the more expensive ones. We still have eggplant to do. We still have our pumpkins to harvest. We still have our squash and melons to harvest. So yeah, so I mean, there's a few other things right here, and we do have a lone zucchini plant that managed to germinate from a bag of seeds, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. So I suppose we should really count ourselves lucky we even got that. So 2 of them did. So let's see if we can get something growing there before the first freeze. And then after the first freeze, if we have the energy and there is a bed prepared, we may actually get around to trying growing some garlic this year. So anyway, at the start of this video, I give props to my oldest daughter and especially my loving wife. They're sitting there burning their damn hands, peeling the tomatoes and quartering for the spaghetti sauce. So I started the video, and I suppose it's been a while on that I've been down there. So we're going to start getting back to work on there. We're shooting for about 24 quarts or 21 quarts today, if possible. If not, we'll find something else. But one thing too, it's like about trying to live self-sufficient is a good example. Is yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, and this is kind of a bad mistake because I'll tell you what, we were tired as hell for pressure canning, which we shouldn't have done. Just for the time it takes for the pressure release, 10:30, and I get up at 4 o'clock for work next day. Not good. So lesson learned in there. Not really. I'm sure we'll fucking do it. We'll do it again. Excuse my French on that one. Sorry. And but like right there, there wasn't enough to really warrant another canning load. We got 21 jars out, so it's like, you know, instead of throwing it away, if we're not going to eat it, or the ends, if they ain't rotted, feed it to the chickens. Saves on feed there. We had a bunch left over, so trying not to let anything go to waste. We put down half a bottle of Italian dressing and marinated some vegetables for today's dinner. This evening's dinner. So again, nothing goes to waste. Get a little extra, something for lunches and that, whatever. Maybe about 12 to 15 portions for sides. And if not, you're saving money on feed. And at the very least, on anything, you are not out here. We do not have garbage pickup, so we got to drop it off at a reclamation garbage center. Drop off. And our recyclables. So for something like that, you know, that's half the space taken up in the garage, because that's one of my next projects. As soon as we find out where the sheds are going, have an outdoor storage area for the garbage and that. Being away from the city and that, there's a lot of critters, so we gotta keep that in mind when we do it as well. But even still, you know, assuming you get a couple bad tomatoes or bad things from the food, you know, hey, if you want the critters out of the garden, I'll tell you what. I go, we got it fenced in, but the chipmunks still manage again. There's a couple other little things. And apparently, under our water tank, there's a baby mole that likes to live under there, which is fine. I don't care. He ain't hurting anything. It's too fat to get under the chicken wire, so I don't care. But, you know, yeah, throw it into the field. Throw it into your wood area. I may as well feed some critters, you know. You know, at the very least, you know, the world ends and all that, you know. You don't have to worry about getting turned in for baiting them, I guess. So, that's about all we have today here. I said it's a little warm out, but it's a nice day. Sitting around looking at other stuff we have to do, which never ends around here, but that's okay. That's life. So, hopefully soon it'll be dead wind, no rain, and about 30 degrees cooler, and we can save up for a ton of wood and have about 10-hour fire in October. And that would be awesome. If, you know, do that, invite a few people out, have a good time. So, alright, well, we'll see you guys in the next video I make, and everybody have an awesome day. Later.